It's a particularly divisive concept, the question whether addiction to drugs should be treated as a health condition or as a criminal offense, and whether law and order would suffer if the state takes a softer stance on drug use. Oregon's Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act spells out a substantial reform to the way the state deals with drug addiction.
It's just a different approach, something that will work much better than what we have done for, well, over a century now, and that's criminalizing and shaming folks.
Janie Gullickson is Executive Director of Mental Health Addiction Associates of Oregon and one of the 3 people who filed the initiative. She's also in long-term recovery from a methamphetamine addiction.
I will tell you, a drug charge did not get me connected to treatment. It got me a drug charge and a drug conviction. Treatment did not happen for me until the 24th year of my addiction.
The proposed ballot measure would mandate addiction recovery centers in communities around the state, potentially making drug treatment more widely available. The centers would be overseen by the Oregon Health Authority and funded by surplus money from Oregon's marijuana revenues and savings from the criminal justice system. That's because the measure also reduces criminal penalties for drug possession from a Class A misdemeanor to a simple violation on the level of a traffic ticket. It's that second part that has raised some eyebrows.
You don't think this is a good idea?
This is a terrible idea. It's disconnected to what's best for Oregonians. It will lead to increased crime and increased drug use.
Kevin Barton is District Attorney for Washington County.
The title itself is deceptive. It's titled Oregon's Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act. But what it really does is it legalizes vast amounts of drugs, things like methamphetamine, heroin, and ecstasy.
But the measure's supporters say people guilty only of addiction to drugs have been given jail time instead of treatment for years, with the effects on their lives overwhelmingly negative.
Oftentimes people lose housing, people lose their jobs, people lose their future potential.
Andy Seaman is an addiction specialist and an assistant professor of medicine.
Instead of caring for people, offering appropriate treatment, we have decided to incarcerate them, and by incarcerating them, we take away the very things that allows their recovery.
For Gullickson, it's an idea and approach she wishes her community had taken years ago, a pathway to treatment that was so elusive for her.
I think my 5 children would have appreciated if I had gotten treatment 20, 21, 22 years earlier, had access, had known how to get access. We can and do recover. Recovery is not only possible, it's probable.
Right now, the proposed measure is still in its early stages. Organizers have been given the go-ahead by the Secretary of State to begin collecting signatures. To get the measure on the ballot for 2020, they'll need to gather more than 100,000 signatures. Reporting in studio, Simon Gutierrez, Fox 12 Oregon.